Welcome again. Today's workout is just going to be a short program, particularly focused on the lower back, to try and encourage a little bit of stretching through the lower back. And for anyone that perhaps suffers with some lower back issues, the only thing I would say is that if you have got lower back issues, proper issues, then obviously I would suggest you probably go and see a doctor or something rather than undertaking this, because obviously you need to just double check what the cause is. But the main thing around your lower back to remember is that we often sort of focus on isolating areas of our body when we're thinking about trying to stretch them, and often a lot of lower back tension can be caused by or aided by, perhaps is a better word, strengthening your core. So if you've got strong abdominals, it should help with your back, and also stretching out things like your hamstrings and your hips. So particularly if you sit for a lot of the day, it's really good to just stretch out your hamstrings and just loosen off this area, because what's happened is your body's started to sort of realign itself to make sure that you're comfortable in that seated position, as it were, and it starts to adjust. So rather than just focusing entirely on your lower back, just think about all the other parts of the body that are kind of connected that will actually impact on how your lower back feels. So we're just going to make a start, and the first position we're going to go to is a cat-cow, and this is a really nice position just to begin to loosen up the back. So just going from that gentle arching position to through flat and then back to the curve, and just being really careful, particularly if you have got back pain. Don't push, don't force anything. Just allow your back, let your back kind of lead you. And if anything is too painful, then obviously stop immediately. But this is just a really nice exercise to increase the mobility. So you can start off with quite a small kind of curves, and then you can build up, and perhaps as your back gets a bit warmer, you can just start to make it a bit more of a bigger pose if you want to. So yes, just moving into that. Just stretching. And then another nice pose just to stretch out the back is to come back into your child's pose. So just coming back. And you can have your arms out in front if you want to. That makes it a bit more of a, I guess what you would call a slightly more powerful stretch, less of a relaxed stretch. And if you want to, you can just relax into it and just allow your back here just to open up. And this is also obviously stretching into your hips, as we just talked about, so it's a good one for that. So then moving on to the next stretch. So you may want to be cautious in this pose. So we're going to go into a downward dog, which if it's too much, if you have got some quite severe back pain, then obviously don't do it. But if you come into it in a nice gradual and soft way, you should, by pushing your hips back, so focusing on pushing your hips back. Don't worry about pushing your heels to the floor, just focus on pushing your hips up and back, and just making sure that you relax through your shoulders. And you should again be able to just feel a slightly different take on the stretch. And again, we're stretching here, we're stretching out our legs as much as our back, so it's good. And obviously just hold it for as long as it's comfortable for you. And then coming into down onto your belly and just coming into the Sphinx pose. So with your elbows under your shoulders and your arms out parallel in front, and just looking sort of ahead. But don't crane, so not stretching your neck up. Just having it in a nice neutral position. And just trying to make sure you're not clenching anything. Right? Just try to relax. And then moving back into, you could take another child's pose here if you want to. I'm just going to move us on, but you can obviously do whatever you need to do at that point. And then we're just going to come onto our backs with our knees up. And you'll probably be quite familiar with this one, but if you place your right leg onto your left knee and then just put your hands through the window and just stretch out. And this is a really good one for your hip and your leg. And then when you're ready, just dropping that leg down, putting the other leg, so your left leg onto your right knee, reaching through that window and just holding it in. And you can hold these stretches for, up to 2-3 minutes. And you'll probably notice the longer you hold it, the more you get out of it. But again, any discomfort as you do this, then just come out of it straight away. And if as you're stretching as well, you sort of notice that you've eased off, and just bring it back in again. Just keep that tension on. Hello, boy. Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing? And you're just taking your leg down. And then just hugging your knees into your chest. And this is a really nice one, just to give your rocking side to side or round, and just almost giving yourself a little massage again, just being very cautious with yourself. But it's a really nice one, this one, to explore perhaps where you're feeling the discomfort the most, but in a gentle way. So just seeing, if certain things perhaps aggravate you, or And then another one to release the hips is Happy Baby, so reaching to hold the inside of your feet and just taking your feet up in the air and just rocking, or you can stay still. But this is a really nice one for tight hips, so you can straighten your legs or do a bit of movement just to feel into this one. And again, just using your breath. I haven't talked about breath much today, but just using your breath as you stretch. Sending your breath to the places where you need that stretch, that extra energy. And then coming down, and then taking your arms out to the side and just taking your knees to one side. And just releasing the back on one side. Just go to sleep here. Ooh. And when you're ready, taking them through the middle and coming to the other side. Hey boy. Boy. We're doing better. And then coming back, and you may want to give yourself another hug, like bringing your knees into your chest. And then bring yourself up to sitting, and if you're about to kind of get on with your day, this is probably a really good opportunity just to bring yourself to standing if you want to. You can obviously end up sat on the floor and have a quiet moment if you want, but just bringing yourself up into that forward fold. And again, if you have got any back problems, it's really important that you keep your knees bent and just releasing your back. So you're not trying to poker straight your legs here. Just breathing into your back, resting belly on your knees, on your thighs. Letting your head really hang down, and you should feel the stretch into your hamstrings. And again, you can sort of practice shifting your weight here, so you can bring your weight into your toes a bit more and see how that affects it into your heels. Just see if it makes any difference. And then as you come up, as I say, keeping your knees nice and soft. Reaching up overhead. No back bends if you've got problems with your lower back. And just coming to rest. So, thank you for joining me again today. Hopefully that will provide you with some stretches to do if you have any lower back issues, and even if you don't have lower back issues, it's a really nice one just to work on your hips and your hamstrings and just give yourself a nice bit of stretch. So hopefully I will see you all again soon. Take care.